From Bondir, when we went ahead from the National Garden Kinkri House, we came to another ward called as Ubadano. And I told you, Ubadano possibly meant a straight road that went from the Bandar to the next port at Gopakapattan. But on the way, I couldn't resist myself from visiting a good friend of mine, Mr. Willie D'Souza, avid sportsman and avid animal lover. He loves gardening too, and he lives in a wonderful house. So let's meet Willie Bob and find out about here. Willie Bob, welcome to my program called as My Goem.
Most welcome, Sanjeev. Thank you very much for this visit.
Willie Bob, you have been staying in this village right from the time that you were a child.
I was born.
You were born here, and you have seen a lot of changes happening here. During your childhood, how was this place?
This place had a very few houses. To my left was an open space. To my right was a house. Across there was so much open space, full of mango trees, which we spent time waiting for the tora and the semi-ripe mangoes to fall. I'm really missing those open spaces now, which we had gone. Ahead there was a place where we used to play football, volleyball, cricket, whatever. Now you don't even have space there, except for that one volleyball ground. The open spaces, the greenery has kind of vanished. A lot of structures, not huge ones, but have filled up this place, and that's it.
Now, from what I know you are a very passionate gardener and you love to collect trees, and you have got a huge love for animals, which we can see over here because of this smart little fellow. How has your passion been, with pets and all?
For pets, it is about 25 years, but with my plants, it's been much earlier than that. During my college days, when I was inspired by my family doctor, Dr. Raghuveer Nashnulkar, who gave me the first 20 rupees to start gardening because he preferred me to be at home and follow my passion rather than waste my time at the Nako, at the church square. And from that time, my passion for gardening has been really in my system, where I visited most nursery all over in Goa, all over the country. And even now I'm blessed with travel because of my football. So even from the northeast, Gangtok, before I pursue anything on the day off, I pursue nurseries to see if I can add something to my collection. And that's anywhere I go, before anything else, I like to see a garden or I like to see a nursery and add to my collection.
Another question, Willie Bob. We are basically doing a program for the 100th episode of My Goem on Prudent. And I had selected Santa Cruz because this is one place which is still retaining the village atmosphere. And I see that you have maintained your house. But how old is this house?
See, we don't have exact records, but from what I can tell you, when my mother was born here, that's in 1934, she says that it was still in the building process. And we have one bedroom there in the grey cement, the kacha cement. There was a date engraved which said something like November 1924. So that was the tail of the house. We don't know if it started backwards and finished front side, or started front side, finished front side. But the only date I know which was recorded there was somewhere in November 1924, where the work was in progress. It wasn't completed by then. It might have taken a little more time than usual, but it's definitely somewhere in the early 1920s.
Very nice. Thank you very much, Willie Bob, for joining us on our program. Thank you.
Pleasure having me with you, Sanjay. Thank you very much.
When you're traveling to Bamboli from the highway from Panjim, you're passing the village of Santa Cruz. So when you are traveling up near this Bambolim slope, there is a road that travels inside over here. This is one ward of Santa Cruz that is away from the main village. This ward is cut off from the main village by the highway, and it is only one ward by itself, and the name of this ward is Kujira. Now, I tried to find out what is the meaning of this Kujira until I read it somewhere that because of the bandar, because of the port, the ships that came in brought a lot of Gujaratis from Kathiawad and from that side, because they were very good navigators and they were pure vegetarian. They did not eat fish or meat, and because of that they came and settled in the village but away from the village. This particular village was the settlement of Gujaratis who are called as Gujirs. So the place where the Gujaratis were staying were called as Gujranrao Tathui, or where the Gujirs resided. And over a period of time, like all the other names of Goa, this also got corrupted from Gujirs to Gujir to Gujira to Kujira. So now you know why we have a ward that is away from the main village and is called as Kujira. This you can read in many of the books of history written on this village, and it makes exciting reading. Though Kujira is away from Santa Cruz, today it is very, very important, because today we have the educational hub on top over there and a beautiful stadium, athletic stadium. You can see right on top on the hill. This road that goes to Kujira, on either sides we can see open fields. But this open field actually was just a retaining area for water, for salt water to come in here. And we have another place called as Bondwod, a man-made huge lake which was designed somewhere at the end of 1800s and put into effect by 1900-1901. In fact, you will not believe, like I say, it is bigger than Mayam Lake, deeper than Mayam Lake. And you can see that water over here, it is still there, but at the same time, if we don't take care of our heritage, we will make kochra out of it. And right now, ladies and gentlemen, I am standing in kochra over here. Lot of bottles and lot of things. I pray to you that please do not dump your garbage in areas like this. It's spoiling Goa. Please remember that. In Kujira ward, you have a lovely chapel over here dedicated to Sant Gosalv of Amaranth. Now there is a chapel here off on the highway, and at the end of the Ubodanda ward, Ubodanda Kujira, was the earlier chapel of Sant Gosalv of Amaranth. Today they have made it into a beautiful place with a lovely facade. This is how they sufficed their spiritual needs. So, very close to Bondir where the ground is, when you are coming inside the main village of Santa Cruz, this ward is called as Segund Bair. The church is in Premier Bair. Bair is ward. Now, here when you come, there is something very interesting and exciting. Right by the side of the road, there is this small little shrine, and there are these two stones. The whole area is known by the identity Don Fatragode. So what are these two stones over here and why are they getting so much of an importance? The main reason is a question mark. Nobody seems to answer that. Now they say that they are stones of equal weight to measure the things that were coming here. And there are others like Dr. Nandakumar Kamath who say that they may be meteors. There are so many myths over there, but the most beautiful myth of this particular place is that they say that there was a daughter-in-law who was in the habit of giving tamarind balls. You know, we store our tamarind as balls. We remove the seed from inside and she was in the habit of giving this to the neighbors, and you know how some pesky neighbors are, they keep on borrowing sugar and everything. And the mother-in-law used to get very angry because this daughter-in-law was giving those tamarind balls to them. One day she caught her daughter-in-law in the process of giving, but what the daughter-in-law did, she hid it behind her, and when the mother-in-law tried to come and check, she threw them away. And they say they turned into stone, and these are the stones. Well, whatever may be the reason, Don Fathors are a set of mystery of this village. So whenever you are coming here to Segunbair, please come and see the Don Fathor. Somebody may tell you something else. I leave it to you. Let's go now to the Premier Bair, the church. We have now come here to this beautiful church over here, what is known as the Church of Santa Cruz. Santa Cruz, the Holy Cross. And this church was built by the Dominicans. Now there is records which tell us that the Portuguese king, Dom João III, through a decree in 1546, wrote to the Vicar General here, Miguel Vaz, that he was sending 500 pardãos, that was big money, to build a church in Morumbi or Pequena, that I think was in Chimbal. And the money remained if the church was over, then it should be diverted to construct the church here. And this church was built with that money. Hence, we see a lot of crowns here saying that there was royal patronage over here. And later on, this land of Calapur, what was known as Calapur or Calapur, got an identity called as Santa Cruz or the Holy Cross, and that is because this church is dedicated to the Holy Cross. So here you can see beautiful, there is only one bell tower on one side, lovely decoration, and it's been really beautifully done up inside. But today we are bringing you Santa Cruz. This church I am going to get you because there are some amazing facts over here. So now let us proceed to another place. down on the middle road, you come across a small chapel dedicated to Saint Thome. And this is where we call as cabeça. Cabeça means in Portuguese the head. Is it possible that this ward was called as the cabeça or the head because the port of Shridam and Goa was that side, and this was the first ward that they got? We don't know, but whatever it is, the most important part of this ward is that we have got a very traditional doctor here, and he is called as Hadanso Dotor, who sets the bones right. And this has been a tradition in that family for many, many years earlier. And there are quite a lot of people who come to get their bones set. So this is the ward of Cabeça. So we come here to the end of this road which passes from Bondir near the ground through the village and comes here, and here there is a junction where this was earlier the national highway. Now it has been shifted that side, and it proceeds straight up to Goa Medical College. One road goes on top to Bambolim, where you can go to the stadium, and the fourth road proceeds here to the temple of Shantadurga. Now you can see a board over here called as Cafe Corte. Please remember that this ward is called as Corte Real. So now we will go and we will see the temple of Shantadurga. Here we have come now in this ward where we have the temple of Sri Shantadurga. Now we have to understand one thing. In Goa, during the 1500s, around 1540, 1560, we had a lot of religious persecution. This temple and 9 other temples were where the present church square and the market is. During this religious persecution, this temple was destroyed and the idol of it was thrown in one lake. Today there is a big complex of Muliyakars over there. These idols that were there in that lake were brought here by the Mudras family, and even today they have the honor of carrying the umbrella. Here there is a beautiful festival that happens called as Sotri, and that Sotri means an umbrella, a decorated umbrella is taken from here with music, with people following all the way down to the original place, where it remains there for people to give their offerings and take the blessings, and then early in the morning it returns back over here. So here we have a wonderful heritage right from 1500s that is established here. Possibly the idol which is here is not the old one, but the sentiments are old. So when we came here to this temple of Sri Shantadurga of Calapur, we saw that the idol was looking new, but we were not very sure until we met a resident from here, Mr. Anand Kolgaonkar. Now let us find out from him a little bit about that idol. Anand Bab, आमच्या प्रोग्रामाचेर तुमचें स्वागत आसा. हांगा जी पळय भितर ती मुर्ती आसा न्ही ती आमकां नवी अशी दिसली. म्हणजे ही मुर्ती नवी काय पोन्नी, कितें स्टोरी कितें ताजी?
ना, ही मुर्ती नवी जी पयलीं त्या जाग्या वचून हाडलेली,
मळयेकाराच्या घरा फाटसून हाडिल्ली
ती हांगा इस्टॅब्लिश केल्ली आनी मागीर ती मातशी जुनी जाल्ल्या कारणान तिका हें जाल्लें,
कात्रे पडिल्ले.
तेन्ना ती कितें केल्ली तेंच्यांनी प्रसाद बी घेवन ती हांगा तिका हें केलें स्थापना, म्हणजे तुळशीच्या पोंदा,
ह्या तुळशीच्या पोंदा ती मुर्ती घाली. थँक यू व्हेरी मच आनंद बाब, थँक यू व्हेरी मच. So from this temple there is something else that you should know. When you proceed down this road and take a shortcut, or what you can see from behind the Dr. Shama Prasad Stadium is a huge catchment area for water which initially was put for construction in the last of 1800s. 1901 it started operating, and it collected so much of water that if you put it figuratively, it is bigger than My Goem Lake and it is deeper than My Goem Lake. It supplied water to all the fields, and as per the records, they say that there were the crops that they got, the people, was almost 60% more than what they were getting with only one rainfall. It is a very, very important water body. Today, there is a litigation. The High Court of Goa has given some directions, but it belongs to all of us. I hope good sense prevails and we get to use this bondwa. Remember, it was built and put to use in the year 1901. Among the few roads where you can drive through in a canopy of coconut trees. So when you are driving through this tunnel of the coconut fronds, you come across this cross over here. This is basically called as the Almas of Khuris. And if you notice, it is right in between a huge set of wetlands or khazan lands, where normally we find hundreds of birds, various varieties of birds, and it can be a bird watcher's paradise, especially in the morning or late in the evening. Thousands of birds are here. But coming back to this cross, a Portuguese documenter, Philip Neri Xavier, has an anecdote to tell us, and that is, there was a big fight for borders between the people of Santa Cruz and the people of Taligaon, and there used to be literal fights. So now somebody came up with a brilliant idea, and he said that, see, let us ask the spirits, let us hone in on the spirits and come near this place and ask the land whom it belongs to. Whatever the land says, we will have to bear with it. So the Taligaon people said, okay, these people agreed, those people agreed, and they decided to meet on a particular day. Now, the people of Calapur or Santa Cruz, what they did, and this is what the anecdote says, is they came up with a brilliant idea. They made a man sleep inside a coffin-like structure, and they came here and they buried him over here. And what was the deal? Very secret deal, that when we say, Izomin Konachi, you have to say Calapur, Calapur, Calapur. So on the next day, these people came from Taligaon, the people came from Santa Cruz, and then they did the evoking of the spirit, and they asked, whom does this land belong to? And from down the ground the voice came, Calapur, Calapur, Calapur. The people of Taligaon were stunned, and from that day onwards they accepted this as a border. But something very bad happened later on. In the jubilation that this became their territory, the Santa Cruz or the Calapurkas forgot that this man was buried inside, and sadly he died. They remembered a few days later. So when they came and they removed it, by that time the person was dead and there were maggots or kiddes. They felt very sad. As a penance, they were told that they should, each villager of Calapur should take a kiddo or a worm or a maggot and put it under his belt at the waist as a penance. Hence, it is said that Calapur cards were called as Benas of Kiddo or Benakullo Kiddo. Today, when you pass the side, say a small prayer, because it was this man who gave his life by default to form the border of this place. But whatever it is, you look around the place, you see a lot of things. You can even see the new bridge, see it, and come a lot for watching birds, lot of migratory birds. Or Santa Cruz. I am sure there are a lot of things what I have told you, you may not have known, but make a habit to go around in your own villages, understand what is there of historic value and save it. If there is something that you would like to save and you want our assistance, please write to us on the email that you see over here. Secondly, if there is anything that you want to convey to us, whether you like the program or there were some mistakes, lapses, yes, we are human, we make mistakes. So please write to us on this email again and convey to us for this. Now, today is the 100th episode of My Goem, and I pray to the Lord Ganesh, who is the deity and the God who takes off all the hardships and is a protector for everybody. I pray to him that all my viewers, all the Goans, all the people who are watching this, he blesses all of them along with all the other deities and the gods that are there in our villages. So ladies and gentlemen, with that, I take your leave. Till then, goodbye. See you.